Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something real quick. What the hell are you telling yourself every morning? Are you waking up like a warrior, or are you dragging yourself out of bed like a zombie who's already given up? Because here's the truth. Your mind is the battlefield, and those first few thoughts you let in, that's the ammo. That's the fuel. That's the damn software update that's either going to run your day or ruin it. So today, I'm not here to sugarcoat. I'm not here to sell you some magic formula. I'm here to give you 9 things, real grounded, powerful things that you need to tell yourself every morning to get out of survival mode and start operating like a savage. Let's cut the fluff. Let's raw. Let's get real. This is the kind of stuff that builds resilience, discipline, and purpose, the kind of mind that separates the doors from the excuse makers. You ready? Let's get after it. I don't need motivation. I need discipline. A motivation is a fleeting emotion. It's the spark that gets you excited when you watch a YouTube video, hear a great quote, or read a powerful book. And while that spark feels good in the moment, it doesn't last. It fades. It burns out the moment life punches you in the face. When it's 500 a.m., cold outside, and your alarm goes off. Motivation doesn't get you out of bed when your body hurts and your mind is screaming for comfort. That's where discipline steps in. Discipline isn't sexy. It's not hype, it's not noise, and it definitely isn't easy. It's quiet, it's brutal. It's the voice in your head that tells you to get up and do the work, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. That's the moment that counts. When your emotions want to quit and your mind says, no, we keep going. Motivation is emotion. Discipline is decision. Most people waste their lives chasing motivation like addicts waiting for the next hit of inspiration. They scroll through social media looking for that perfect post to fire them up, hoping it'll get them to finally start the workout, the project, the business, the book. But motivation doesn't build anything. It doesn't create consistency. It doesn't build muscle. It doesn't make you reliable. Discipline is what shows up when motivation is dead silent. When you build discipline, you build identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through, someone who does hard things on command. Not because it feels good, but because it's who you are, and that identity, that's power, that's the edge. It's the inner strength that separates people who talk from people who do. Discipline rewires your brain. It teaches you to stop negotiating with yourself. It teaches you to shut down excuses before they gain momentum. When the alarm rings, your brain doesn't get a vote. You stand up, you move, you execute. And that act, doing something simply because you said you would, is what builds mental toughness. You can't buy that. You can't shortcut it. You have to earn it every day. There will be days when you're tired, days when the path feels endless, days when nobody's clapping for you. On those days, motivation disappears. You won't find it in your feed, in your music playlist, or in a quote. You'll find it in your habits. You'll find it in the reps you've logged when nobody was watching. That's what discipline Isaac, a stockpile of proof that you can trust yourself. That when you say, I'm doing this, it gets done. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline says, it doesn't matter. You want results. Forget the hype. Forget the hacks. Show up every damn day, even when it's boring, especially when it's boring. Discipline is doing the small, hard things over and over again without applause. It's brushing your teeth before bed. It's writing one page when you're tired. It's saying no when temptation knocks. It's putting in the reps when you're not in the mood. The people who achieve great things, athletes, creators, entrepreneurs, they're not riding a wave of constant motivation. They're not waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect mood. They've built systems, they've created rituals, and they follow those rituals like religion, rain or shine. They've trained their minds to obey, not to debate. That's the difference. Every morning, when your feet hit the ground, remind yourself of this. You don't need to be fired up. You don't need a reason to feel good, and you don't need anyone to cheer you on. You need to do the work. You need to punch the clock, hit the gym, make the call, write the words, show up fully, no matter what your emotions are saying. That's not motivation. That's discipline. Comfort is a lie. Growth lives in discomfort. But comfort feels good. It's warm, it's safe, it's easy. It's that soft bed in the morning, that extra hour of sleep, that excuse you whisper to yourself to avoid the hard stuff. But here's the truth. Comfort is a liar. It tricks you into thinking you're okay where you are, that staying still is better than moving forward, that you're not missing out on anything by playing it safe. But every time you choose comfort, you trade potential for peace. You trade growth for stillness. You put your dreams on pause because the present feels just tolerable enough. Discomfort is where everything valuable happens. Nobody builds strength in comfort. Nobody learns in comfort. Nobody becomes a better version of themselves by staying in the same place, doing the same things, thinking the same way. Growth happens in the stretch. When you push past what's easy and step into what's unknown, what's hard, what forces you to adapt or fall behind. If it doesn't challenge you, it can't change. That's just how the human machine works. Think about your proudest moments. The ones that made you feel alive, stronger, sharper. They didn't come from playing it safe. They came from risk, from effort, from facing something that scared you, demanded more from you, pulled something out of you that you didn't even know was there. That's the zone where real growth lives. Outside of the comfort bubble, inside that bubble, stagnation. You're not staying the same. You're slowly decaying while pretending everything's fine. The body doesn't grow without resistance. The mind doesn't evolve without stress. You build muscle by breaking it down through discomfort. You build mental toughness by going through challenges that force you to think, act, survive, and adapt. Every time you do something uncomfortable, whether it's a cold shower, a hard workout, a difficult conversation, or chasing a goal that intimidates you, you're training your system to respond, not retreat. You're teaching your brain that discomfort isn't danger. It's the signal for growth. Most people avoid discomfort like it's the enemy. They run from it. They distract themselves from it with entertainment, with convenience, with numbing habits. But the people who become something more, the ones who grow, lead, and inspire, they walk straight into it. They use it. They get comfortable being uncomfortable because they understand that everything worth having is on the other side of it. Comfort whispers to you that you've done enough, that you should slow down, that you shouldn't risk failing, that you'll look stupid, that you're not ready, that it's safer to wait. Discomfort screams that you're alive, that you're chasing something real, that you're becoming better, that you're moving, growing, leveling up. It's the tension between who are and who you could be. It's the gap you only close by leaning into resistance, by doing the thing that scares you or demands more than you think you have. Every time you avoid discomfort, you're building a habit of weakness. You're reinforcing the idea that comfort matters more than progress. But every time you choose discomfort on purpose, every time you do something hard when you don't feel like it, you're building resilience. You're reinforcing your power. You're casting a vote for the kind of person who grows, who adapts, who doesn't back down. The world doesn't need more people chasing ease. It needs more people choosing growth. And growth doesn't care how comfortable you are. Growth is pain, repetition, struggle, sacrifice, failure, and doing it all again until it becomes who you are. Growth is saying yes when everything inside you says stay safe. Growth is earned, not given. And you only earn it when you step into discomfort, take the hits, and keep moving anyway. I'm not owed anything. I earn everything. Entitlement is poison. It's the belief that the world somehow owes you success, respect, happiness, or recognition just because you exist, because you've worked hard for a little while, because you've suffered, because you've been patient. But the truth is, the world doesn't care what you think you deserve. Life doesn't hand out trophies for effort alone. There are no guaranteed rewards for showing up unless you produce, unless you push, unless you earn it. Every inch of progress you want has to be claimed through consistent effort, sacrifice, and grit. Nothing is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand your dream. You either take it or you don't get it. The moment you accept that you're not out anything is the moment you become dangerous. Because now you've stopped waiting. You've stopped assuming that success is some delivery that just hasn't arrived yet. Instead, you take full ownership. You say, if I want it, I go get it. If I lose, I learn and get back up. If I fail, I rebuild. That mindset, that's freedom. That's where real strength comes from. Knowing that everything you build, everything you accomplish, comes from your own blood, sweat, and relentless effort. The people who succeed in life, the real killers in any field, they don't walk around acting like the world owes them something. They're too busy grinding. They're too busy showing up early, staying late, learning, adjusting, outworking everyone in the room, while others are posting about what they deserve. These people are putting in the work to earn it. They understand that you're not entitled to results. You're only entitled to the process, and that process is brutal. It demands your time, your focus, your patience, and your humility. It asks for your full attention and your willingness to fail repeatedly without throwing in the towel. You don't earn anything once. You earn it every day. Respect isn't something you gain and keep forever. It's something you maintain through consistency. Skill isn't something you master and forget. It's something you sharpen over and over, like a blade that dulls with time. Progress isn't permanent. It's a result of habits, and if those habits fade, so does your progress. So every day is a test. Every day is a new battle. Every day you get a chance to prove again that you're still hungry, still willing to earn it, still willing to do what others won't. Entitlement is the enemy of hunger. It tells you to relax too soon, to slow down because you should be further by now, to compare your path to others and get bitter about it. But earning silences all of that. When you focus on earning, there's no room for comparison or resentment. There's only the next step, the next rep, the next chance to sharpen your edge. That's where your focus needs to be. Not on what you think should be happening, but on what you are doing about it. Nobody owes you support. Nobody owes you love. Nobody owes you opportunities. You've got to build those bridges yourself. You've got to create your own luck by preparing obsessively and staying ready. Life rewards the obsessed, the prepared, the consistent, not the entitled, not the ones waiting for someone to come fix it for them. If you want to win, you can't afford to carry the mindset that you're owed anything. Because as long as you believe that, you're waiting instead of working, you're hoping instead of hunting, you're reacting instead of creating. Every morning, you need to remind yourself nothing is promised. Nothing is guaranteed. The only thing that's real is what you're willing to earn with your actions. You want more, then do more, then be better, then be better. You want to be respected, trusted, admired. Then show up, show proof, and show consistency. Strip away the entitlement and replace it with effort. That's where your power lies. Fear is fuel. Burn it. Don't run from it. Fear isn't weakness. It's not a flaw. It's not something to hide or be ashamed of. Fear is human. It's raw. It's built into your DNA for a reason. To alert you, to challenge you, to sharpen you. But the way most people handle fear, they let it own them. They let it freeze them, paralyze them, convince them that staying safe is better than taking the shot. But here's the truth most never heard. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is energy. Fear is information. And when you stop running from it and start using it, it becomes one of the most powerful forces in your life. The fear of failing, the fear of being judged, the fear of not being enough. That stuff doesn't go away, no matter how strong you get. No matter how far you climb, fear stays. But it's not there to break you. It's not to wake you up. It's there to remind you they're alive, that you're playing for something real, that you're about to step outside your comfort zone into the unknown. And the unknown, that's where growth, transformation, and evolution begin. Fear shows up before the breakthrough, every time. It shows up when you're about to do something meaningful, something that matters, something that stretches you. You don't feel fear when you're sitting still. You feel fear when you're standing at the edge of your limits. And that's where you want to be, because the edge is where life changes. The edge is where average ends and greatness begins. Most people back away from that edge, the few. The driven, the focused, the obsessed. They lean in. They don't avoid fear. They grab it, flip it into adrenaline, and use it to power forward. When fear hits, your body lights up. Your heart pounds, your breathing shifts, your muscles tighten. That's energy. That's potential. That's your system gearing up for war. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Let it own you, or channel it. Because when you take that surge of fear and turn it into fuel, you become unstoppable. You don't wait to be fearless. You act with fear. You move through it, not around it. And every time you do, you rob it of its power. Fear is also a compass. It points to the place you need to go, the conversation you need to have, the challenge you need to face, the dream you need to chase. If something scares you, it's probably worth doing, not because fear is always right, but because fear only shows up when something has meaning. The trick is learning to decode it, to ask, why am I afraid of this? And more importantly, what's on the other side of this fear? Because most of the time, what's on the other side is growth, freedom, confidence, and clarity. The people who do great things, who build big lives, who make a real impact, they all feel fear, but they've learned to perform in spite of it. They don't wait for the perfect moment when all fear disappears. That moment doesn't exist. They take the shot anyway. They make the call anyway. They step into the arena trembling if they have to, because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that fear won't control your next move. Fear can be your prison or your fuel. That choice is yours every day. When you let fear drive, you shrink. You hesitate. You play small. But when you drive through fear, When you burn it for energy instead of avoiding it, you expand, you gain momentum, you get sharper, faster, braver. Every time you lean into fear, you steal a little more power back from it. You prove to yourself that you're stronger than the feeling, that the fear was just smoke, and the fire is in you. One more rep, one more step. That's how you win. Winning doesn't come from giant leaps or overnight miracles. It's built one rep at a time, one step at a time, one decision at a time when no one's watching. The world loves to talk about big moments, the championships, the titles, the breakthroughs. But what people forget is that those moments are just the result of thousands of smaller moments, stacked one after the other, with no glory and no applause. The grind behind the scenes is where winning is forged, and the mindset that drives that grind is simply just one more. One more rep when your muscles are screaming, one more step when your legs feel like lead, one more page when your brain is fried, one more email, one more phone call, one more hour of practice. That's the difference between those who almost make it and those who do. The ones who win don't rely on motivation, convenience, or perfect conditions. They rely on the discipline to push for just a little more every single time, and that little more compounds. That's how consistency turns into domination. Most people stop when it gets uncomfortable. They stop when they're tired. They stop when they've done what's enough. But enough is the enemy of greatness says. Enough says you've done more than most. You can rest now. Enough gives you permission to coast. But if you want to stand out, if you want to be elite in anything, you need to develop a hunger that doesn't shut off enough. You need to build a mindset that says, what's one more thing I can do right now to get better? It's not about killing yourself every day. It's about not settling when you still have a little left in the tank. That final push, that last effort after most people have stopped, is where breakthroughs happen. That's the rep that builds not just muscle, but character. That's the step that teaches your mind it doesn't quit, just it's hard. And over time, that repetition becomes who you are. You start to see yourself as the kind of person who doesn't back off, who doesn't fold under pressure, who always shows up and finds one more gear when it matters most. Every time you choose to go one more, even when you're tired, even when you're bored, even when there's no visible payoff, you build a new standard. And that standard becomes your foundation. Winners don't rise to the occasion. They fall back on the level of preparation they've built through relentless reps and steps. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about how many times you're willing to show up and give just a little more when your mind tells you to quit. There's a voice in your head that says, this is good enough. That voice is lying. It wants comfort, not growth. It wants validation, not progress. Your job is to silence it with action. One more drill, one more set, one more minute of focus. You do that long enough and you create separation from your past self, from your competition, from the average. You build distance. And that distance becomes the gap between good and great. Most people overestimate what they can do once and underestimate what they can do daily. One more is small, but it's powerful. It's the quiet decision that adds up to massive transformation over time. You won't always see instant results, but you'll know. You'll feel it. That inner confidence grows every time you prove to yourself that you can go further than you thought, that you don't break at your limit. You break through it. No one is coming. It's on me. There's a moment in every life when the illusion cracks. The illusion that someone's going to show up and fix it for you. That some mentor, parent, partner, boss, or savior is going to walk in, hand you the blueprint, unlock your potential, and make everything fall into place. But that moment never comes. The cavalry isn't coming. The support you think you need might never arrive. And once you truly accept that, something shifts. You stop waiting and start working. You stop hoping and start building. Because if it's going to happen, it's going to be you. Your hands, your grit, your blood and sweat. Taking full ownership of your life is both terrifying and empowering. Terrifying because there's no one to blame. No excuses left. No fallback. Empowering because when you realize it's all on you, you also realize you have the power to change it. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You need to stop outsourcing responsibility for your life and take control of every variable you can. Your routine, your attitude, your effort, your focus, your habits. Those are on you. Always. It's easy to blame the outside world when things aren't going your way. The system, the economy, the timing, your past, your boss, your upbringing. They all might be part of the story, but they're not the author. You are. And the moment you keep handing over the pen, You lose the ability to write a better chapter. Every single day, get a choice: stay stuck in a story where you're the victim, or step into the role of the one who takes command. You may not be responsible for how it started, but you're responsible for where it goes next. Nobody is coming to do your push-ups for you. Nobody is going to read the books for you. Nobody's going to teach you discipline, hand you confidence, or drop purpose into your lap. Those things aren't given. They're earned. And they're earned in the dark, when it's just you, your commitment, and the grind that nobody else sees. That's where transformation happens. Not on the stage, not in front of the crowd, but in silence, in solitude, when you stop waiting for support and start acting like your own hero. This isn't about ego. It's not about pretending you don't need help or guidance. Everyone benefits from good people in their corner, but even the best coach, mentor, or friend can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. They can't make you show up. They can't force you to be consistent. The fire has to come from inside. It has to be lit by purpose, stoked by discipline, and fed every day with action. People waste years waiting for someone to believe in them. But the brutal truth is, you don't need belief. You need proof. Proof you give yourself through doing the hard thing over and over until confidence is no longer a feeling, but a fact. Belief comes after the reps, after the grind, after the small, quiet victories that no one claps for but you remember. That's how you build trust in yourself, by showing up for yourself when nobody else does. You are the solution and you are the problem. You are the reason it's not happening and you're the reason it still can. That's not pressure. That's power. You're not stuck unless you decide to be. You're not broken unless you choose not to rebuild. And you're not finished unless you stop fighting. The people who rise, the ones who win, they aren't the ones who had it handed to them. They're the ones who decided that if no one's coming, then they'll become what they need. They'll rise to the occasion. They'll be their own rescue mission.